Are you glad you did join honours, or would you have done? Would you have picked one?
I am. For a lot of the English tutors, it was slightly frustrating that we were always running off and doing plays when we should be reading Middlemarch. And I remember...
I didn't finish it either.
Well, no, I know. And I wrote an essay on it. And I didn't finish it. You know, with that kind of confidence you have at that stage of your life. I was always kind of bluffing my way through English. And now I think probably I'd be more inclined to do that rather than all the productions of Bertolt Brecht plays that we did at the time.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. And it's easier to kind of be unnoticed in English because it's so much bigger. And drama's so much more sociable.
Yes, exactly.
Were you part of societies?
I was.
Spotlights or Dramsoc?
I was, it was, in those days it was Dramsoc and Reunions. It were like the sort of Beatles and the Stones. And you had to choose your allegiance. And I did a lot of plays with them. I had a lot of plays in the department. And did a bit of directing as well. The one thing I didn't do at all was writing. I think within the department in particular, the emphasis was very much on devised work. I think it would have been considered a bit eccentric to come in one day and say, I want you to say this. So I didn't actually write anything that you could call a play all the time I was here.
So when did you start? Was it when you were acting that you started thinking you would like to write?
I started to, weirdly my way into writing was through letters. When I was in New York studying acting there and having a pretty terrible time, I have to say, thinking I'm in the wrong place, I'd try and make stories out of it. And I used to write quite long accounts of these awful dance classes and terrible singing sessions and fill them full of dialogue and little anecdotes and stories. And without realising it, I was kind of writing.
So when you came to university, did you know you wanted to be an actor?
Is that why you went to drama school? I thought so, yeah. I mean, I also was I was in love with comedy. I was very keen on stand-up, and I was in a double act with my friend Matthew. I really loved doing that. And I suppose that was writing. You know, we devised these 3 sketches together and we performed them at department parties as Matt and Dave. And I loved being in Matt and Dave. And when I left university, I was experimenting with the idea of doing more. But Matthew was very committed to directing. And I wasn't very funny without him. I wasn't particularly funny with him. I thought, retrospectively, I realised that I was sort of the straight man. And so I kind of gave it up. I sort of dipped my toe into directing, but I didn't really have a feel for it.
It's a lot of responsibilities.
It is. And I think I was quite conventional as well. You know, I think the directors who really shine are often quite sophisticated. And I was a little bit kind of, you stand there, can you do it happier, can you be a bit sadder? That was the extent of my skill as a director.
Where's Matt now? Is he still
directing? He was running the Old Vic.
Really? Wow. Oh, okay then.
He made the right choice, It's Matthew Warchus. So he's directing, you know, huge plays in the West End, so he's doing all right.
You're still good friends? Oh, good.
And weirdly, I'm writing a play for him now. So it's all sort of, it's worked out.
Matt and Dave strike again. Good. Did you ever live with drama people?
I did, yeah. There was a lot of acoustic guitars flying around, and a lot of late nights, and a lot of high emotion, and a lot of candles, setting fat curtains, and that kind of thing.
This year I lived in a house of 9 drama students. It was
emotional,
intense.
We used to do lots of talking, lots of late night. I think at one point there was this weird craze for mask parties where we'd kind of you'd lie on your futon and someone would stick papier-mâché on your face and make a mask. Right. And so it was that kind of thing.
Did Matt and Dave perform at that party?
We didn't perform at that party, but there was a lot of massage and a lot of masking.
So I was just going to finally ask, is there any advice you'd give me? I'm kind of in the position you were, I think.
Yeah, again, I always resist advice, except don't panic. You know, don't panic. I think that's the hardest thing, especially throughout one's early 20s, is to accept that you're young and you've got a lot of time. I don't want to sound like some old fart, but you've got a lot of time ahead of you, and it's extremely rare for people to fall into something that they're good at straight away. And by straight away, I mean in 3 or 4 or 5 years. You know, a lot of the people I know who did really, really well straight out of university found it very hard to sustain, and a lot of people who thought a little more, who tried different things, who did worked in areas that they wouldn't necessarily have chosen, who took a little bit of time, finally found their feet. So don't panic would be the main thing.
Thank you.
Don't panic.
How about today?
No, we've got a couple of days off.
Yeah.